Welcome, welcome. Jamie Hernandez here, founder of Breakthrough Yoga Coaching Method, helping you bridge the gap between your spiritual practice and your business so that you can grow emotionally and financially. So today's training is called the high ticket model for healers. Now it's a little bit funny, the concept even in itself, like the fact that we have to understand that there's such a thing as a high ticket, model is kind of funny because there are certain investments that we make. Like I went to the orthodontist the other day, and it was a 5-figure investment to the work that they needed to do. And yes, it is an investment, but it's not that we question, that these possibilities are available. So the first thing I want to ask you is, in your business, as you think about your business, as you think about the transformation that you offer, what are your feelings? What are your immediate feelings? And what are your immediate thoughts about what is possible for your business? What is possible about who you're going to work with, who your soulmate clients are, what is possible with the income, what is possible with the type of life you want to create, the type of experiences you want to create. Like, what for you, when you start to think about your business, is what comes to mind? So first impression, write me in the comments, what is that? What has it been? Because we can be in many different places. One can be, and let me know if it's this one place where you're stuck, and there's this sort of this energy of confusion. So there's a lot of energy put in this place of confusion where you kind of have this vision, but it's always being kind of blocked by I'm not sure where I'm going. It's this place of, okay, I know where I want to go. It's kind of working, but it's not necessarily working in a way that is also nourishing my own soul, nourishing my own energy. There is a sense of fatigue and frustration that I feel. I'm still working, but there's this sense of fatigue. Or is it number 3, where you're very crystal clear on where you're going and you're just taking the steps to get there? So let me know if it's 1, 2, or 3, or something could be something completely different. So number 1, you're I know there's this place I want to go to, but I keep on getting confused and getting more information, and so your energy is literally spinning in information. So that's where your energy is at. So here is the clue here. This is where your energy is being put. You're in a place where, okay, I'm working hard and I'm doing the thing, and but I'm so tired, right? Okay, so there's another energy, this busy, or there's okay, I am putting my energy in where I want to go, and I'm taking the steps together, and it's not that it's not work, but here I go, and maybe I stumble and I fall and on the way, but I'm continuing to go into that place. So which one is it for you? 1, 2, or 3? And if you start to think about your business now, are you working with, so another question is, are you working with your soulmate clients? The clients that you absolutely love working with. Number 2, what is the transformation that I offer? And number 3, what is the income and the impact that I'm creating? Because here's the thing, when we can charge anything, right? We can charge $100 for our offer. We can charge $4,000 for our offer. We can charge whatever it is. And so for you, if you start to think about, are you working with your soulmate clients? So meaning to say, whenever you work with them, it's oh, I can't wait to work with them. I'm so excited. It's oh my gosh, this is the thing that I'm so nerdy about. I'm gonna you get really psyched up and prepared for your client, or you're moving towards them, and you're oh, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this, but it's hard. I think but it's they're paying me, so yes, I'm gonna. Is it more of this kind of resistance? Yeah. And so Number one, are you working with your soulmate client? Number two, are you creating the income? Are you receiving the income that you feel like, okay, yeah, this is the income, whatever number that is for you, that allows me to kind of be in the experience that I want to be in, make the choices that I want to make the choices. And so in our business model, our business model can have many different types of offers where we offer, things for $100, things for, $300, things for $500, things for $1,000, things for, and the possibility is endless. Here's the thing that I think sometimes we don't necessarily are consciously aware of. We have the choice of creating anything and charging an investment at our choice based on, right, a couple of things. The expertise that you're bringing. So let's say most of the clients that I work with have been in their healing, healing, coaching, and transformation for decades. So you're coming in with decades of of experience. Yeah, your personal experience, your professional experience, and your client experience. And you create, programs based on that. The other thing that we're doing is when we are working with people, we kind of want to figure out, well, how much time do we want to collapse for somebody? So I'll give you an example. If you were to read a book, the time collapse might be quick depending on what your experience is. But let's say, for example, you read a book from Deepak Chopra, and there are going to be concepts there that you're like, oh yes, okay, they've changed my life, and you implemented them. And then maybe you take like an online, program that he created. And then what if, right? I'm just giving an example. Like, what if you actually worked with that particular master or expert in that field? How much time are you collapsing, and how much time and money are we saving for that person? Yeah. So there's when we are in these different price points, the lower end, the mid range, and the what we call high ticket, which is charging, 5 to 10 to 25, whatever K per client, we want to start to think about, well, how much time am I collapsing for them? What is the expertise, the decades of experience I'm bringing for them? And what is a life-altering transformation that I offer? So those three questions. And if you really start to think about it, so I had a client who came to me and literally had debilitating anxiety. Couldn't get up in the morning. His kids had to help him get ready. It was putting a big strain on the family because, of course, his beautiful wife was helping him out. His beautiful kids are helping him out. But he kind of just woke up with a lot of fear and anxiety. So he could have read a book that could have changed his life. He could have maybe gone and done like a online program where he's not interacting with people. Also could have changed his life. And then he also could have worked with the expert, right? Which you are an expert in your field. One of my life experiences that I used to suffer from debilitating anxiety, right? I still suffer from my anxiety, but it's a different, I have a different relationship to it. Yeah. So I've built these tools. Yeah. And I've gone through my life experience, my professional experience, and my client experience. And so in a matter of a couple of weeks, even in a matter of an hour of just him coming to me and having the courage to say, I think I need help, because it requires courage, and this is what's happening in my life. And in that moment was already there was already anxiety and a kind of attack happening. In that moment, because of my life experience, my personal experience, and my client experience, my client experience, we were able together, because he was ready and willing, to bring him back down to a place where he could function for the rest of the day, right? Where he didn't sort of kind of go up and then he crashed and then needed to kind of take a nap for the day, to sort of just manage his overwhelm. And there's no, that's the experience. Hey, Olga. And so, so in a matter of weeks, what we did was we collapsed the time with where he wanted to go, right? And so in this place where you're teaching at what we call a high ticket or at a premium, what we want to start to consider is, with our personal experience, with our client experience, and with our professional experience, how much time are we collapsing and how much money are we actually saving them, right? So he could have gone on, read the books, and he has, that's the thing. He went to the doctors, he went to the nurses, he read the books, he went to many different practitioners to help him out. And I'm sure they've all given him something. But in that what I call the triangle of three, you have a particular experience that creates a particular outcome that certain people are dreaming about. Yeah? It's like he was dreaming about the day that he can just wake up and play with his kids, as simple as that sounds. That's what he was dreaming about, and that's what he's living today. And so the dream is out there. And when you have a certain experience and somebody else has a certain experience and they're praying for each other, then your prayers they're trying to find each other. Yeah. And so in this experience, what happened was, in a short amount of time, at this premium rate, we were able to commit, because there's also something about utilizing the tool of money, right? Utilizing the tool of money to say, okay, give me what it is that I'm looking for with you, and allowing that experience, that professional experience, and that client experience to be shared, so that I can start to live in that dream that I am envisioning. And your particular path and your particular experience has gone on that road. So instead of having all of these kind of experiences where you're trying to find the answer here, and then in a book here, and then in a course here, you, as a healer, as a coach, have a very unique experience that somebody else is dreaming about. And the other thing that we have to kind of consider is that not everybody is dreaming about what you want. Not everyone is dreaming about what it is that you're here to offer, right? And so when we start to think about, okay, I am going to offer all of my life experience, my client experience, and my professional experience in a structured pathway that I have experienced myself and brought people through, that brings them to this certain outcome. Debilitating anxiety, can't get out of bed, to I just want to run around and play with my kids and have fun. Yeah. And so for you want to think about, well, what is the life-altering experience that I offer, right? And what happens if the person who is dreaming of that outcome, because there are people who are dreaming of that outcome, right, doesn't get that, right? And this is not about, oh my God, I have to try to convince them to work with me, but it's just the understanding, if we want to think about the value of what we're creating and the experience that we're creating, what would happen if they didn't invest, whatever you want to charge, the 10K or the 15K, 10 years from now, right? So they can invest all of these small little kind of solutions that may or may not work, or they can collapse that time and then they can dive into a structure that you very well know is going to move them from this place where they've decided they don't want to be anymore. And you have that. And so what we have to understand is that not everyone wants that experience, and there are the few that do. And so here's where, we get a little bit all messed up about this, is that we're starting to think about all the people who don't want it and who are going to judge us, who are going to question our credibility or whatever it is. All of that stuff is going to come up. But if you start to allow yourself to put the energy into, well, who do I want to help? Who are the clients who have the money and want this experience? It's like if somebody's running a business and your business, like one of our clients, your business is to create like websites that are highly functional and have, all of the bells and whistles that we want when we're creating a website, which is the correct SEO, the right messaging, the right look, the right feel, all of this stuff, the, clarity. Do you want to try to learn how to do it like in a succession of 5 years, which maybe you do, or do you, are you ready to okay, that's a part of my business, and so I'm ready to invest in something that is going to get me the collapse, exactly what I want, and the collapse outcome, the shortened time frame. You see what I'm saying? So it is just simply opening to the possibility of what different investment models are there, and what that potential and possibility can do, right? So it's like, if I wanted a particular outcome, like let's say, for example, I'm going back to the orthodontist thing. If I wanted orthodontic work, and like I have to pull out my teeth and all this stuff, am I going to go read a book or go to maybe a student orthodontist or somebody who kind of knows about that? Probably not. I mean, it depends. You might, yeah. But no, I kind of want somebody who has experience, right? Who has their own personal life experience, who has their own, client experience, who, has their professional training. And again, and that's me. Maybe you would go with somebody who's less experienced, and that's fine too. So what we want to start to understand is there are people who are choosing your experience, your life experience, your expertise, and your professional experience. And so if we allow ourselves in our own kind of, when we, because one of the things that I always talk about in this, being a spiritual entrepreneur, is our relationship to money, our relationship to marketing, and our relationship to sales. And, I lost my train of thought. One of the things, now I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, let me let me go back to my notes here. It's going to come back to me. Oh, yes. One of the relationships, this is what I want to say, one of the relationships to money that we have is we have this attention and idea of those, and I think I talked about this before, but those who don't want our thing, right? So then all of a sudden the energy is there. And so what if in our, that's what I want to talk about, the marketing, as we put ourselves out there in marketing, what if we actually spoke to those who are looking for that outcome? And so it's a simple shift in where we put our energy, but it's not necessarily always obvious, because we have our subconscious thought that has all of these other ideas, right? Of like, okay, maybe I'm not good. And here's the thing: it's always like maybe I'm not expert enough. People, I don't think people are going to pay for that. My ideal client, they just don't understand my work, or they maybe have the money, but they're not willing to do the work. There's all these ideas, and what we have to realize is that, maybe those are not the people we're working with. What if there is that person who, needs to collapse time, needs your exact expertise, and is willing to pay? Period. What if we speak to those people, and we can still offer any price range we want? That's fine too, right? So what I'm adding to the paradigm is just the potential and the possibility of creating and getting really clear on the life-altering transformation that you offer. Creating a really clear structure and a path for people who are looking for that, and they don't have necessarily, or they don't want to go through years and years of, trying to figure out, years and years of staying in bed and not being able to wake up, or years and years of, maybe like some on a practical level, maybe they just have other things to do in their business, and they have the means to invest in what you're doing because they need your expertise, right? So it's simply an adding to the potential and the possibility of what is possible. Because when I asked you the question at the beginning, when you think about your business, where is your mind at, right? If our energy is in those thoughts, then that's what it's going to move towards. But if we allow ourselves to, go into the energy of potential and possibility and move into that reality, okay. So it's this practice, if you were to work with me, to start to shift our attention and first of all become aware of where we're putting our energy. And we go from the level of the body, because it gets imprinted and coded in the body. We go from the level of the mind, and we go from the level of energy, right? And then after that, we go into, what is the, what is the soul, right? And the other concept I want to introduce here, so that first concept is very long-winded. It's like talking about potential and possibility, and just understanding that there's just a different paradigm, and sometimes we're just not living in that paradigm. Okay, so that's concept number one. That took me a long time to get there. Concept number two, right, is understanding what are we living in the there's so many ways of putting it, in the victim consciousness, where it's about someone else. It's coming from this blame, shame, or guilt place, Or are we living in this, one of my teachers, DS, talks about victim consciousness, and she calls it master consciousness. Are we living in master consciousness? And that master consciousness is the one that knows what it wants and sees potential. Victim consciousness is the one that sees things from a place of blame, shame, or guilt, of fear. Yeah, and at any given moment, we're in one or the other. So we just have to be discerning between the two. Which lens are we looking through? And so when we kind of come from this master consciousness, then that's the one that can allow all potentials and possibilities in. Why? Not because we deserve it, not because we're anything other than that's what we want, right? And that's what starts to excite us and bring us joy in that potential and that reality. And when we live in that frequency of this joy and this excitement, which is excitement and fear are very close together, right? What happens is that our frequency just starts to expand. And when we're in that victim place, it's this place of contraction, this place where everything feels very constricted and stuck. So let me know if you felt both, and understand and see when you're creating from that place, because we all do, and when you're creating from master consciousness. Okay, so let me review my very spiral talk here. And I have to admit, I kind of came on and sort of free flowed. And so point number one, understanding potential and possibility. I don't know if this is the order, but potential and possibility, right? And through the lens of understanding there are people who are looking for your exact expertise from your experience, from your life experience, and from your professional experience. Understanding that certain people want to collapse time. Like, they don't want to spend 10 years trying to figure it out, save money by kind of doing sort of these little pieces of the information. So there are people who are out there literally dreaming of what it is you offer, So it's like I have a coach, and I personally, for me, the ideal coach would be the one that can integrate the 3D realm and the spiritual realm, things practical. And that's why I kind of do this work, because I think a lot of us in our community, sometimes money, marketing, and sales and our spiritual practice is like, they seem so far from each other. And so, my dream is always to be able to merge that. And so, of course, the coaches that I have decided already in my mind to their dream and my dream come together. The questions that your master consciousness are asking are starting to be lived. The questions that your victim consciousness are asking are starting to be lived. So the questions that you ask are the questions that you are living. That's the interesting thing, right? So we sometimes think oh, why am I stuck? And we think that's the right question to ask. But life is going to give you the experience of why you're stuck. It's going to help you experience your question. So if your question, and if you're allowing yourself to dream of the same dream, and that was my dream, is like, oh yeah, having me as a coach, having those two worlds merge together, and having coaches, then what happens? Lo and behold, they kind of come into your life. That's kind of how it happens. Yeah. So we talked about the collapsing of time, right? So the time, space are malleable. So when we're putting our energy into a time space reality that is in the same resonance as us, then it's going to come towards us. So if our questioning is always, why am I stuck? Then you're going to live that reality. And if my question is, oh, what's the other possibility? What's the other potential? What are the other potentials here? How can this be exciting? How can this be a place where I start to create from that place of being resourced and feeling abundant and feeling excited? So, so there's that. And, you know, also the reality of understanding that there are certain people who don't care about what you're doing. It's just like it's just like they're just not in their. They're not dreaming of that. Yeah, it's like, I love to dance, or I've recently taking tango, and I dream of that. But some people don't. They couldn't care less about that, right? So we have to kind of understand. Sometimes we if I want to, like, if I love tango and I'm starting to talk, I'm thinking, like, when I'm putting myself out there and I'm talking to all the people that, oh my God, what if they don't like tango? And what if they judge me that I think I'm it's like taking this random example, which is so ridiculously silly. Then you're going to start to experience that, right? You're going to start to live that question. Yeah? Let me know if that makes sense. So here is my roundabout way of going about a high ticket model, a model that you can bring into your consciousness and into your paradigm, into your reality of being able to charge, 4 to 5 figures for your work. And of course, we don't just go out there and just charge whatever we want. There is still a structure of understanding what is a life-altering transformation that I offer. I talk about this a lot, based on the triangle of 3, my experience, my life experience, and my client experience. And, what is the time, like, how much time do you want to collapse for this person, this time and money that you want to collapse for this person, and understanding what would happen if in 10 years they don't decide to not get out of bed and play with their kids. Like, what is the cost, more even than just the money? But on a practical level, yes, there is going to be investment in some way in your time and your money, something, right? And then the idea of, like, speaking to, because it's all of these projections and these voices in our heads of thinking of all the people who are going to judge us for what we do or what we charge or what we want. To speaking to those, well, there are people out there who want your triangle of 3 and who are dreaming of, just, give me the clearest path and to where I want to go. Like, I'm so tired of not being able to wake up and play with my kids. Like, I'm done with that. So there are people who are already decided and are willing to invest in what it is you do. And you're not out there to try to convince people, but you're speaking to those people who are already dreaming of you. Yes? So it's not this egoistic thing where you're like, there are people, your dream and someone else's dream meet, and you see this all the time. Like, my dream of taking tango lessons and my teacher's dream of teaching tango our dreams met together, right? And so there are going to be people who have that same dream. And so what if we talk to that, whatever, 5% or 1%, or however you want to kind of think about it. moving out of that victim consciousness that has this kind of projection of all of the other people who don't really care, or you have this idea of what other people are going to think, and that's a projection of your own kind of consciousness, or moving into master consciousness that starts to get really clear on what you want. So one of the processes that we do is after we've cleared the physical, mental, and energetic body, we continually move into master consciousness or higher consciousness, and that naturally on the calls and in with the work that I do, it naturally flows out when we're in that state. And then we want to start to trust that part of us and start to take action and implement. And here's where that premium coaching comes in, is there's a nuance, right, to the journey. Just like if you were to read a book I wrote or to actually work with me, or it doesn't have to be me, like I was talking about Deepak Chopra at the beginning, there's a nuance to that, right? Sometimes there's just a little tweak, a little moment where we're falling and we're spiraling into some sort of blind spot that we don't recognize we're in. And then just simply taking that energy and putting it into a action and a strategy that is going to just move you towards where you want to go, right? And that's the power of working with someone one-on-one at a premium level coaching. Yes, and then, there are also things like this where it's like it's just completely free. And it's like, that's great too, right? And so the last point really is like, can we just open ourselves to all realms of possibility? Activate those who are ready in each possibility. So some people will want to just kind of be in your realm where you're offering things for free, like this. Maybe there's other potential possibilities where they're not completely ready to, or they're not looking for that dream outcome that you're looking for, and they're, looking for something more general. And and then there are those who are ready, right? And they want that collapse of time, and they want that attention, that high touch, high level attention that can only happen in real time. It's like when my clients come to me and they're just in this little shift of like in their place of marketing or their place of viewing where they're going to go next in their business, or viewing what's happening in their body. Like sometimes just offering the next obvious action is what completely puts you on a different degree, and that degree can all of a sudden take you in a completely different direction. And sometimes, and that's what I've experienced in my own kind of coaching, where it's like, okay, yeah, sometimes I do the free thing. Sometimes I, just to kind of get some kind of idea. Sometimes I do more general things where I'm not interacting with a coach in general. But then sometimes it's like there's just a nuance that your coach, with their level of expertise and their experience and with their clients, you just can't get from, not working with them directly. So that is it for high ticket coaching model, is really just to open the door to that potential and that possibility, and questions that you want to start to think about. Your triangle of three, your life altering experience, understanding what happens between a year, however you want your program to be, or a couple months or a couple weeks, to the 10 years that your client is not working with you, and understanding that there are people who are literally dreaming about the outcome that you offer. So that's it. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know your biggest takeaways, and I will see you next week, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If this work resonates with you, and you do want to understand, how do I create a program that actually has the life-altering transformation that I offer? How do I market it in a way that the way we teach is you're simply speaking from your experience? And how do I have, do this sales thing? Let's, oh, like in a way that the way I teach our clients is simply, it's just an extension of your coaching. That's all it is, right? And bringing them closer to their truth, not yours, but theirs. Yeah. Then DM me and let me know, Jamie, I'm ready for a breakthrough yoga coaching call. And on that, what we're going to do is I'm going to send you an application. And in that application, I'm going to read and I'm going to see and look at where is the energy and where perhaps the stuckness is. And then we're going to look at where it's stuck in the body, where it's stuck in the mind, where it's stuck in energy. Right? And then that's kind of like the domino effect to starting to put our energy to where we want it to go. Right, in that realm of potential, utilizing the higher consciousness or the master consciousness that we all have, right? So it's giving back ourselves that power and understanding that everyone has that potential and possibility, right? And so some of us are a little bit kind of just closer to that place, right? And so we're just meeting each other in that place. But, it's allowing ourselves to understand, oh yeah, I can meet people there. So, my Calendly link will be in the comments below. Katie will put it in probably in a couple of days, or you can simply DM me. So that is it. I want to know your biggest takeaways, your questions about this whole thing, and I'll be happy to answer. So I'll see you guys next week, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, guys.